A week ago, this channel had 110 subscribers, and today I'm sitting at over 1,000. Wow, what a ride I've been on this week. But before I go any further, I just want to say thank you truly to those of you that have been here from the beginning and to everybody who just found my channel this week. Welcome, and I don't take a single one of you lightly. But I do need to say this right up front. It didn't happen because I cracked some code. There was no viral short. I only have 2 shorts on my channel. I didn't do any paid ads, no big creator giving me a shout out. What happened was actually quieter than that. So today I thought I would tell you what I think happened, what the numbers are telling me, and what I did that I think made the biggest difference. But first, I want to talk about the emotions and share a little of my journey this week. I was excited and motivated and terrified all at the same time, and I was kind of a happy wreck. I was excited for the obvious reasons and terrified because that slow, steady growth I thought I was going to have time to take care of had just turned into a runaway freight train, and people were asking for help and coaching, and they were downloading my PDFs that I'd created and joining my email list, and the comments were constantly rolling in that needed answers. It was like somebody had flipped the switch I didn't even know had power to it yet. One minute I was quietly building, I was learning and showing up, and the next, the pace drastically changed. Not in a bad way, just fast. But fast enough that it made me sit up and take notice and take my responsibility a little more seriously. Because when people start raising their hands and asking questions and trusting you with where they're at right now, that's not just growth, that's real responsibility. I felt grateful. I feel grateful, deeply grateful, but I also felt the weight of making sure I did it right, of answering thoughtfully, of not just rushing past the very people who made all this momentum actually happen. It reminded me that growth isn't just about your numbers going up. It's about being ready to meet what comes with all those numbers. So let me tell you about my week and kind of give you a quick reference, and then I'll show you my analytics really fast so that you can kind of get an idea of what this all looks like. So for reference here, I just posted my first video here on October the 15th, and today, as I'm filming, it is Sunday, January the 4th. Last Sunday, our kids came home for Christmas, and I showed my daughter that I had 110 subs. I was actually very excited about that. I didn't get into all the details with her because she didn't understand views and, all that, this background stuff. But I know YouTube is slow, steady growth. That's what it's usually about, and I was prepared for that. Finding that right audience and getting my filming feet under me. I had time to figure out the business side of YouTube that I wanted to create. The digital downloads, the school community, the coaching classes. So I posted a video on Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. like I always do, and it started off okay. But really it was moving fairly normally, maybe a little better. But by Wednesday afternoon on New Year's Eve, it was really starting to roll. And needless to say, I was glued to my analytics. And when I went to bed that night, I had gained 63 subs. And I forgot to write down how many views I had at that time. And when I woke up the next morning, gosh, I couldn't believe it. I had another 81 subs and 1,200 views. On New Year's Day, I gained 168 subs and 1,800 views. So by Friday night, it looked like it was cooling down a little bit. Needless to say, I let out a deep breath. I thought, okay, a little bit of rest time. But when I got up the next morning, it had started going again. And today, as I'm filming, I sit at close to 1,100 subs with 15,000 views on this, just on this one video, and 1,300 watch hours. I still need 3,700 more watch hours just to get that 4,000 to be monetized, but that will come in time. I'm not worried about that. I'm not in a hurry because that was not the point of building my channel. So when I go to my YouTube studio, I'll show you here the subscriber count over the past week. This part's really surprising, yes, but it's really not the reason the channel grew. Subscribers don't lead to growth, they follow it. What really matters is this. This is what YouTube responded to. It's this watch time, and it started climbing first. People were staying longer. My click-through rate was good, my average view duration was great, and they watched more than just one video. And once that happens, YouTube started sharing the content with more people who needed it. And here's the first shift I made. I stopped trying to talk to everybody. Instead of asking, what kind of video should I make today? Because that's what we all do. I asked, Who am I sitting across the table from today? What did I do that helped me so that I can help them? And when I found I wasn't over-explaining anymore all of the technicalities of YouTube, I was answering that question. And that changed how my videos felt, for me especially. It made me calmer and a little more clear and more focused, not all over the place. The second shift was my hooks. Not louder or flashier, just honest about what was in the video, and people stayed because they were curious. The third shift surprised me the most. I stopped over teaching. I have a tendency to get in the weeds, and I didn't try to cover every angle or every exception to the rule. I only talked about what I know from my experience. And people didn't always agree with me. They told me in my comments, but that's okay. That's how we learn. Plus, I'm sure I got some stuff wrong occasionally. I know at one point some of my editing, my words were off. But when you can do that, viewers trust you more. That's when they keep watching. And number 4 was a huge shift for me. I changed my thumbnail strategy. You know, I really wanted to be cute and catchy when I first started. But what I realized, to grow an audience, I needed clarity. Once you have an established audience, you can lean more into that creativity and be cute and funny or whatever. But smaller channels have to be clear in their packaging. So where did all this growth come from? It was this video right here. And I'd been putting off making a monetization video until I had proof that what I was telling other people to do could actually work. I made one of these videos well over a month ago that's still sitting in my folder. I just didn't feel like I was ready for it. It wasn't every video that went crazy. It was a focused one doing one job really, really well. But what happened is it pulled up all my other videos because people would go from that one to all my other ones. So now they're doing much better. And that's important because a lot of people quit when one video doesn't perform. When really, YouTube's just trying to learn who to show your work to. Because when I first started, my audience was all wrong in the beginning. I could look at my demographics. It was mostly 25 to 34-year-olds. But once this video came out, that number shifted dramatically. It moved right towards my target audience. And here's something else, and I want to say it out loud because I know somebody needs to hear it. I assumed growth would be slower because I'm older and because I'm not doing shorts. I'm not on Instagram. I'm not on TikTok. I assumed I need more polish. I need better editing, better camera presence. But none of that turned out to be true. I was always second guessing myself, but I didn't have to because what mattered was clarity, calm delivery, and just being myself, however that is, and respecting the viewer's time and the packaging. But just as important, here's what didn't matter nearly as much as I thought it would. My gear didn't do this, posting everywhere didn't do this, and chasing trends didn't do this. Most people quit because they're carrying this weight of trying to do all the things when they don't actually need to. So if you're building a channel right now or a business on YouTube, here's the one thing I would implore you to do this week. Look at your next video and ask yourself, would I watch this past the first 30 seconds? Do I know exactly who this is for? And am I solving one clear problem? You don't need momentum to start. You get momentum and confidence by staying clear and staying present. Growth doesn't always look like what I'm showing you here. And when it's slower, that doesn't mean it's not working. That means it's practice season. But if this kind of shift can happen on a small, brand new channel like mine, it can happen on yours too. So before you give up, ask yourself this question. What if my next video is the one that finally gets noticed? That's what I did. I would always say, is this the one? And if it is, then it's time for a deep dive to find out why it was so popular. Why did it get noticed? What did the comments have to say? What does the video say? What does the title and thumbnail do and say? Learn and keep growing. And if it's not this one, still keep learning and pay attention to the small stuff, one day at a time. You can't grow a channel if you quit. And as for me, there's no rest for the weary. And the Bible says in Galatians 6:9, let us not be weary in well-doing, for in due season we shall reap, if we faint not. This week felt like a quiet test of that idea, to keep doing the work, steady and faithful, and not faint when the pace suddenly changes. I'll keep sharing what I know, and if you're here learning alongside of me, I'm so glad you're here. And if for some reason you didn't watch that video that just came out and went a little nuts for me, I'll link it here so you can watch it next. And I'll see y'all on the next one. Bye.